Let's go and open up the work order. And I see a question that came in asking, can a technician change the description in the event the customer hasn't properly described the problem? Actually, let's find out. I know that you can absolutely change the description in the back office, so your dispatcher can change it. But let's find out if the technician has that right too. And it looks like the answer is yes. Heater went out last night. Actually, let's go ahead and give it a more appropriate description because this is going to be what's showing up on your service ticket that you're going to send to everyone. And this is going to say our heater unit 2, let's say the power is unresponsive. So you can put that appropriate there, and you can also pick the right problem code or, hey, you know, we're going to call this electrical or whatever you want on that particular thing. By the way, work orders. I'm showing this example as kind of an HVAC example. We have also kind of talked how we have some property management examples. Note that we can really run the gamut on service. If you happen to be a landscaper, a lot of people will use this as for landscaping to say, hey, you're going out and doing this work, and you can actually assign parts before we even get in here, so your technician just opens it up and sees what they need, puts in their hours, and closes it off. If you're doing roofing, same scenario where you might have things already pre-existing in there for you. We're going off of the blank slate here, but we can work in either selection. Again, this is the look of a tablet, and if I'm looking at this, you can see all the information here in a big view, and I'm down below, I can see a quick link of everything I need to do, my notes, my assignments, my hours. If I'm on a smartphone, this resizes and becomes buttons so that I can say overview and see that information. I can click on my notes and put in my notes. And I can go to my assignments and say, okay, we're going to go ahead and start this assignment. I'm traveling, or I'm starting, or I'm completing. Now let's talk about assignments real quick. Assignments is something that your dispatcher definitely wants you to update in many cases because your dispatcher is wanting to track what you're doing. It also tracks where you're at. Every time you do a change of status, we are time and geo-stamping where you're at based on your device you're using. And that means if you are paying for people when they're starting and stopping and you're seeing that they're starting their work while they're at Starbucks down the street, that's a talk you can have with them. But we track all that so you can make those decisions on however you want to with them. We're going to use mostly tablet view here today because this majority of our people do use tablets. And a question came in. They were reiterating, asking what type of device can you use on this, Apple, Google, PC? Yes, the answer is yes. Any device with web enablement we have access to on this. Let's go and put some notes in. I'm going to add some notes, and we can create canned responses. In many cases, we want your technicians to have the company verbiage that you want shown on your reports. If the technician's writing everything out by hand, which they do today, they have to remember exactly how you want to see it, or they just make something up, and you never know what's going to be on there. In fact, I've heard customers seeing things they should never have seen because the customer wrote on a piece of paper some inappropriate stuff. We really can narrow that down and say, here are the canned responses that you need. You installed a circuit breaker while you were there, and here's how we want to say that. If you want to give more freedom to your techs, absolutely fine. They can type whatever they want using their phone or swipe. And they can even use the text-to-speech on their device as well, which has gotten pretty accurate as of late. That's the customers facing. We also have the office facing. So your office can see some notes, or your boss. If you want to put in, hey, I got in late, I won't be in the morning. Customer was very happy with what I did, wanted to give a congratulations to you. Whatever you want to put in there. The office note's not viewable to the customers. And we can automatically have this email anyone we want to, and we can set up groups depending upon the technician of who those people we'd want to email and let them know these notes immediately. Some people actually use this for just a quick note, hey, I'm sending you a quote on this, or I see something that I want to talk to you about later. I'll go ahead and submit this, the notes, and from here I can start entering all the rest of my work order information. So I can go to my hours and put in my labor hours. And let's just go ahead and say I'm worked today 5 hours. I replaced, we're doing the heating here, so let's just say I replaced the outlet. It was something simple like that. And it was on the furnace that we're working on. and I'll submit that labor. If we have a crew, by the way, you can enter time for your crew members in there. I don't have a crew set up on this particular technician I'm logged in as, but if you have a crew, you can send up all your guys' time into the system quickly and easily. And this time is not just what's billable, it's also what I'm working, and we're going to get a customer sign off saying that I did this 5 hours, and that'll always go back to showing you on your payroll if you need to. If you're using service inventory, we have a parts lookup. I had to grab a wire. I can do my quick lookup of the wire that I'm particularly using. And from there, you can pick, is this coming from my truck or my main stock? And in here, I'm saying 0 stock. I actually don't have enough wires on here. Of course, I'm looking at them, so maybe I just need to do a inventory update, and we have a managed parts for that. But I can put in any parts, and if I'm allowed to go over stock, which I am, you can put those in. But speaking of parts, if I come out there and I don't have the parts I need, I realize I need to go run over and get a heating coil from down the street. I can come over here and create a purchase order. This purchase order creates in service management automatically. Again, everything is live. So I get a PO created in there. Let's say I'm just running to the hardware store, so I'll just go in my Larson's Hardware here, and we'll say heating coil. I used this example before, it looks like. If we're shipping anything, we can put that in there, and I can create this PO. Again, instantaneously going to create that in my service management purchasing so that my AP person can see that and start generating the invoice as appropriate. And here's where I can take in the part or miscellaneous. I'm going to say heating coil. And this cost me $35, and so we got the cost in the system. Some people don't have their technicians fill this out. They just put one single line that says, see receipt, and $500. And then they'll take a picture of the receipt to have that go on. And they can bring this to the work order. They can put it to the stock in their truck if need be as well. And we have that attachments button right here to take that picture right from your tablet or smartphone of the receipt or any of the parts as well if you want to capture all that. Everything's done. I pull back to the work order, and this has been attached to the work order, all tied together, as well as the parts are now on the work order as well. So that heating coil I just purchased is in my miscellaneous items, or it will be in a second once it updates. If I need to take pictures on the work order side, maybe before and afters, or if there was an issue, I can take a picture of that. We can absolutely add attachments or take sketches, however you want to do that. And if we do add an attachment, let's go ahead and choose a file here. I'll just grab this picture of an elephant, and I'll say heater. Why not? We can attach that picture there to it, and this picture can be automatically emailed off with the service ticket as we go through. And that means that if you do those before and afters, everyone who's in part of it will know about them and can quickly access them. And there's a service report. We're going to skip the service report for just a second and talk about custom reports. We have a report designer on here. I have to tell you, it's probably the easiest report designer I've ever used. It's literally, here are the fields I want, and here's what I want named, and here's how I want them displayed. Real simple. And you can create things like safety checklists or forms that you want the customer to fill out with signatures or the text signature saying that they're safe with checkboxes. Build these out and submit them and save them so they become part of the work order and part of the history of that site as we go through it. These are going to be saved for posterity or for reporting or working with your manager to say, hey, I've seen that you weren't filling out your safety forms. And you can even make them required. If there's a form that you say you have to fill this out whenever you do this type of work, we set it up that way.